All right, hold on. All right, hello, this is Zane Urquhart again, and this is my fourth and final speech, my commemorative speech, which I will be giving on my father, Scott Urquhart, who's the most important man in my life. Now, as you can see, I have met the requirements of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, even more than 5. So, I will begin. I will hand the camera to one of my compatriots. Okay. So as you can see, this is my family, my sister and my brother, and my dad. Now, we're a pretty goofy family, as you can see from our family photo. And this was my 8th grade trip to Chicago, which my dad was a chaperone on. He is such a loving man, but I have to admit, my dad's a cheapskate, okay? He buys off-brand everything. Now, he only wears shirts that he gets for free from the Red Cross every time he gives blood, and never buys any luxury items for himself. Now, as a child, I would throw fits in the store because I wanted things. I wanted this toy, I wanted this clothing article. And he said that I didn't need it, and then I could find something free to replace it. Now, as I've gotten older, I tell these stories at family gatherings and at parties, but I can totally see myself becoming this frugal man who sacrifices everything for his family, with bigger plans for money than toys or name brand cereal, specifically Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Now, it feels like as I mature, everything that he's done to provide for our family is a successful model for parental and familial success. That should be on something like The View or Dr. Phil. Now, my father, Scott Warwick Urquhart, is the strongest man that I know, and he's made countless sacrifices for our family so that he could provide for us what he had and then build upon that. That is a successful American dream. Now, bypassing his childhood, which I don't really know nothing about other than he wasn't living in poverty, he struggled in college. He flunked out. He partied too hard. He didn't take personal responsibility when he first got out on his own. Now, went to a different college after that, got a successful degree from the University of Virginia, and then my father started saving everything from his first paycheck that he got at GTE in Marion. And he was putting his money in different savings accounts like stock markets, 401k, IRAs, things of that nature. So what could be his greatest fear, a life of losing his money or being subject to abject poverty, turned out to be his greatest driving force. And as he once told me, you cannot spend what you don't have, and what you don't have, you simply cannot spend. Now, I wasn't around for the beginning part of his adult life until he was 34. Which is when I came into the picture. Now, I had no knowledge of what he was doing to protect my future at such a young age, but now I can see them as such generous and very much so ingenious things that he did in saving his money and spending it wisely. Now, all my clothes were bought at the thrift store Goodwill. If he wanted to buy things, generally they were hand-me-downs. I was a kid, I didn't know. I was covered in ketchup and cream cheese. It didn't matter. I wasn't really thinking about what I was wearing at the time. Now, all my toys, same thing. Bought at the thrift store, bought at the Goodwill. Even Christmas presents. Maybe spent about $25, $30 on my Christmas presents each year until I was 7 and started getting a little more aware of what I wanted. Now, he did this, giving me gifts, giving me presents, clothing me, while saving my money and protecting my future and his future as well. So, when I turned 5, I was given a $5 allowance a week to do what I so chose with, to spend, to save. I unfortunately spent my $5 every week at Walmart, $5 for a 5-pack of Hot Wheel cars. It was my thing. I didn't save any money. Now, my sister and my brother got the same $5 rule. She ended up having hundreds of dollars by the time she was 10. So, even as an adult, this early exposure to financial saving can be summed up in me wanting some sort of memory, as my father put it. We were once at a museum and walk into the store and say, "Papa, I need a memory of this," holding up a plastic sword or a stuffed animal. And my dad handed me the ticket stub or playbill of wherever we were at and said, "Here, Zane, here's your memory. I'll let other stuff." Now, my father, who twisted his words, told me that, "Here's your memory." Now, seeing these things now from an adult point of view, I'd rather have the ticket stub than a plastic sword or a stuffed animal any day. Because I can look at that stuff. It says the date. It says the time. Shows me what age I was. shows me where I was, and then all the memories can just flood into my system. Now, we can lose the memory of the experience we had if we can't even tie that to what the plastic sword even was. And it's going to be broken, most likely, because I like to beat things with it. So now I made some poor choices of degrees in college myself. I was a fine arts theater performance major. Not really a moneymaker. But my father told me, you can do whatever you want to do, whatever your heart tells you, as long as you have a plan B. Now, I didn't realize how monumental those words were at the time, but now they're a part of my philosophy that I tell my students as a student teacher every day. You got to have a plan B. Another thing my father told me, which is a quintessential statement from everyone's knowledge, is there is no such thing as a free lunch. He was the first man to tell me that. So now I'm latently pursuing my plan B in middle childhood education so I can educate kids on the things that my father gave me. Because I'm sure my dad wanted to buy fancy cars and take more vacations than he did. But he sacrificed his own wants and needs for his family. Now, it seems like today a lot of kids that I teach in the school don't have this type of mentality from their parents. And I can only think what their world would be like if they had a Scott Urquhart in it. Through his sacrifices, his unwavering loyalty, and protection of his family, my father has given me everything in the world that he was given, and more to build upon that for my own children. And that is the American dream. Thank you.